Alright, so we're going to talk about some hyper controversial, and this is the creator versus the God of the Bible. Now, how me get this video idea, I want Bridget who end up on my live stream and say, yo, like you hear me, I explain to you, so the creator different from the God of the Bible are two different entities. And him say, yo, make a video talk about that. You're a creator versus the God of the Bible. So I think so this very interesting. I want to point out some inconsistencies where you can identify in your own reality and cross-reference that with what the Bible says. This is the creator, whoever create reality, and the God of the Bible are two different entities. Sex must take place inside a marriage. No sex of like Jehovah, you may create this, etc. You must have sex inside a marriage. So I get that teaching, and guess what? I like the order of that very organized. However, there is something interesting that always stand out to me. You weren't taught that a God give children to people, like God create life, God give you children, right? So you would have seen married people, me would have said that, married people who, them I do what God said, but then I have no children, but yet you have people who are fornicate, like, sinners, and them full of baby. So how is that even possible? Genesis chapter 1 verse 11 and 12, it says this, then God said, let the earth cause grass to sprout, seed-bearing plants, fruit trees according to their kinds, yielding fruit along with seed on the earth. And it was so. And the earth began to produce grass, seed-bearing plants, and trees yielding fruit along with seed according to their kinds. Then God saw that it was good. Now this happened before God decided to make the sun. So my question is simple. How can grass sprout? How can plants grow without any form of sunlight? When they need photosynthesis to just stay alive. So Joshua went to fight one battle. And the man out there fight one battle, and he went just charge up. And he just was some mess and he said, God, like make the sun stand still. Someone just go read it here. So Joshua chapter 10 and verse 12 and 13. It says, it was then on that day that Jehovah routed the Amorites before the eyes of the Israelites, that Joshua said to Jehovah before Israel, sun stand still over Gibeon and moon over the valley of Ajalon. So the sun stood still and the moon did not move until the nation could take vengeance on its enemies. Now when we hear this sounds beautiful. But when you sit down and watch something, you say, wait, hold on. The sun stood still in the sky for an entire day, for a whole day. Now let me show you one print. First of all, this would have to come in with some flat earth theory, where believes that the earth flat and the sun and the moon like upon the cycle around the place, rather than what is proven through astrology and all these different astronomy, every single thing, which is like the sun, we orbit the sun, that's why we have the cycles and all these stuff. So the one who created the Bible, the God of the Bible, that depend on different myths than literal proven science and physics. So the story goes like this. Noah, God gave Noah specific instruction for how big the boat would be. You see, if God never did that, if God of the Bible never did that, we could have probably made it slide. This is how you will make it. The ark should be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. These are specific instructions. My God. Listen to this now. And it goes on to say in verse 22, and Noah did according to all that God had commanded him, he did just so. So that means that Noah never made the boat any bigger than what God tell himself to do. Now pray this, now read chapter 7 and verse 13. It says this, on that very day, Noah went into the ark along with his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and his wife, and the 3 wives of his sons. They went in with every wild animal according to its kind, every domestic animal according to its kind, and every creeping animal of the earth according to its kind, and every flying creature according to its kind, every bird, every winged creature. They kept going to Noah inside the ark, 2 by 2, of every sort of flesh that has the breath of life. How can all them fit in the ark? How can a polar bear and a lion coexist? How can these creatures coexist in the ark together to over 100 odd days? This is Genesis chapter 2 and verse 19. It says this, now Jehovah God had been forming from the ground every wild animal of the field, every flying creature of the heavens, and he began bringing them to the man to see what he would call each one. And whatever the man would call each living creature, that became its name. Again, we will go back to you. The Garden of Eden, is found now one place around in the Near East because it talk about the Euphrates River, right? That they down in the Middle East where the climate is either desert or temperate, like Jamaica, hot. So my question to you is this. When you have animals like the polar bear, the penguins, these animals that need the cold, they desperately need the cold. The other animals where need the high altitude like the mountain goats and these animals, right? Where they only can be found in these specific areas, specific geographical locations. How could they all be found? How could they all be created right then and there in the garden? This is what the Bible tries to do sometimes. Try to explain how things take place, right? So they try to explain to you how languages get split up. This is the story where they do it. It's at Genesis chapter 11 verse 5. Hear what it says. Then Jehovah went down to see the city and the tower that the sons of men had built. Jehovah then said, look, there are one people with one language, and this is what they have started to do. Now there is nothing that they may have in mind to do that will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down there and confuse their language in order that they may not understand one another's language. So Jehovah scattered them from there over the entire face of the earth, and they gradually left off building the city. So, according to this account, this story, is that because God said the man them work together and progress. God said, alright, pray this now, we go down there and we go confuse up man them language and then start progress and start work together. Right? But here's the thing. It is proven, even if you just go back to the older translation of the English Bible by itself, like the King James, the Old King James, right? And the Geneva Bible, the English language back then, completely different from what we taught now. If you research, the language literally gradually progress over time. It don't happen like once, even tomorrow morning, one man speak Chinese, next man speak English, next man God, the God of the Bible, Jehovah. Him see the man them work together and the progress, and he said, alright, there will not impossible for these men to do, so we have to separate them, we have to cause division, right? So why is it God would have fight against the man them, confuse the man them, and stop build one city and a tower? Why God would have intervened then? But why he never intervened when they have the Manhattan Project back in the World War II, when the scientists them come together and build one nuclear bomb, but they end up drop upon Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but kill off thousands of people, and then they lead to children that be born with birth defects afterwards. Why God never intervened then? Why never confuse up those scientists' language so then stop work on the bomb?